Hello, everybody. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, teacher.
Hi, Nancy. Good morning.
Hi.
Hello, guys. Hello, Fernanda, Homero, Sebastián, Melanie, Álvaro, Helen, and Joanna. Remember, guys, that in order to be in this class, you need to turn on your camera, okay? Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to have the attendance. So prepare yourself because I'm gonna pass the attendance right now. And I need to see your camera on, okay? So let's start with I do have two more students right here. Okay, let's start with Álvaro Álava.
Present, teacher.
Thank you, Álvaro. Okay, Sebastián Cherres.
Present, Miss.
Hi, Sebastián, can you please turn on your camera?
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Thank you very much, Sebastián. Let's continue with Nancy Cruz.
Present, teacher.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Let's continue with Steven Herrera.
Present, teacher. Good morning.
Good morning, Steven. Amazing. Thank you. Let's continue with Emily Landívar.
Present.
Thank you, Emily. Narcisa Navarrete. I think that Narcisa is right here. Yet. Melanie Pineda.
Hi, Miss Present.
Hi, Melanie. Thank you. Joana Reasco.
Present, teacher.
Thank you, Joana. Sebastián Rodríguez. Sebastián Rodríguez not here in the session yet. Helen Romo. Miss Helen Romo, your microphone.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning, Helen. Thank you. Let's continue with Sandra Santin.
Good morning, teacher. Present.
Good morning, Sandra. Thank you. And finally, Homero Yumiseva.
Present, teacher.
Homero Yumiseva.
Hello.
Hi, Homero. Can you please turn on your camera, please? Okay, thank you, Homero. Okay, so there is 10 out of 12 students. So I think that we are good to start with today's class. So take a look. We are already in week number 5, right? This is our class number 10. And on today's class, it's Sunday, July 16th. We are about to cover some new content and also content related with the simple tense, right? That we were checking yesterday. I was kind of checking your writing about your breakfast, and I noticed that most of you told me that you have some issues into uploading the picture, right? But it doesn't matter as long as you write, right? It doesn't matter, right? So thank you very much for the 10 students that develop the activity. Remember, all of this represents grade. So please, you need to complete this. Otherwise, you're not gonna have a high grade. So please, right now, this is already closed, right? Because I told you, I always give you like the deadline, and the deadline was until today at 9 a.m. So if you want to do this right now, you won't be able because this is already closed. Now, I'm gonna check this later and I'm gonna give you the grade. I'm gonna tell you if you need to improve something. So we are gonna continue with the content of our book. Yesterday, remember that you guys developed some of these activities, right? So we are gonna continue with the activities of Unit 5B. So you guys have to develop this listening and reading, right? And also you guys develop some of this grammar in present simple. We are familiar with this because let's remember that yesterday we explained this, right? Remember, you have the explanation right here. So I don't think it's gonna hurt you if you wanna double check, right? To fully understand this. Let's remember that whenever we talk about simple present, you have to keep in mind that you are gonna have two different groups. The groups of the pronouns I, we, you, and they, and the second group with the pronouns he, she, and it. The difference is that these pronouns right here, you are gonna be using the verb in the base form. But right here, whenever you have this kind of pronouns, right? Or even if you have the name of a guy or a name of a woman, you will have to use the verb base plus letter S, as you can see right here. In this example, you have I play in the park every day. But right here, in this other example, we have Sebastián plays in the park, right? So keep that in mind. Now, let's go back to the book. And right now, let's do some of these activities. Okay, so you mostly develop all of this. And right now, we are gonna develop this activity right here. Vocabulary 3A, match the phrases. So please click into this activity right here because we are about to develop it. Okay, so basically right here, you are gonna have to relate, right? You have to try to understand what's the phrase that makes sense, right? You have all of these options. You have, I have, I drink, I like, I live, and I want, right? So we have different verbs. You have the verb have, you have the verb drink, the verb like, life, and want. So you also have different choices right here. You have the pasta, not the fish, in London, this book, coffee, and you have 2 children, right? So you have to try to make it sense. What's the correct option? In all of them, you have the same option. The thing is that you need to try to understand what makes sense. For example, in this one, in the first one, you have I have, right? And you have the options, the pasta, not the fish. It kind of makes sense, but let's continue with the next phrase just in case. I have in London doesn't make any sense right here, right? I have this book Okay, makes sense too. I have coffee, makes sense too. And you have, I have 2 children, right? So then right here is that you have to try to fix these phrases so all of them make sense, ¿verdad? Aquí el detalle es que si bien yo podría poner I have the pasta, not the fish, tendría que ver que el resto también tengan sentido, ¿no? Entonces aquí viene el hecho que yo trate de coordinar que todas en su momento tengan sentido. Entonces, en este caso, por ejemplo, yo tengo esta opción de 2 children, right? So, let's see if 2 children make sense with I dream. I don't think so, right? You cannot say I dream 2 children. I like 2 children. That doesn't sound good either, right? I live 2 children. Doesn't make any sense. I want 2 children. I mean, kind of makes sense, but in this case, the best option will be this. I have 2 children, right? So in some activities in English, you have to try to think about it, think it through, and try to fix each of these phrases, okay? Va a haber así actividades en inglés que sí. Va a haber momentos en que puede tener algunas respuestas posibles y puedan tener sentido, ¿no? Pero yo tengo que pensar un poco más allá y hacer este tipo de dinámica que acabo de hacer, ¿no? Esto de que si tiene sentido, cuál es la que coordina mejor, cuál es la que suena mejor. So in this first case, the best one will be I have 2 children, okay? So let's see the next one. Fernanda Landívar. So which one do you think it will be a good option with I drink? The pasta, not the fish, in London, this book, or coffee?
Coffee.
I drink coffee. Exactly, correct. Thank you very much, Fernanda, for your participation. Now, let's see the next one. I like, Melanie. Which one do you think it will be a good option right here?
I like the pasta, not the fish.
Yes, correct. Makes sense, right? I like the pasta, not the fish. So, for example, this could be also, I like this book, right? But in this particular case, the correct answer is this one. Why? Because if you go further, you're gonna see that the option, this book, fits better with some other option, okay? Now, let's continue with the next one. We have Homero Yumiseva. So which one do you think is the correct option right here, Homero?
In London.
I live in London, correct. And of course, the last one, you're gonna have, I want this book, right? So over there, you have all of them in the correct order. Even though, again, some of them make sense with some other phrases, but remember, you have to think it through, okay? So click into finishing the attempt so we can continue with the next activity. So let's check. Look, in this case, we have, I like the pasta, not the fish. So, I mean, it makes sense, right? Again, it makes sense. So, so we have that, en este caso, ¿verdad? Para nosotros tiene sentido, pero lo más probable es que esto de acá podría estarse basando en un texto que estamos ignorando, ¿verdad? Pero se los doy de manera de retroalimentación. Ambos tienen sentido. Lo que dijo Melanie está correcto. Sin embargo, como les digo, podría ser que habría que basarse en alguna lectura del libro y por eso se torna que no escogimos la respuesta correcta de acuerdo a la calibración del libro. ¿Ok? But besides that, we did it great. Okay? So let's close this activity and let's continue with the next one. And right here, this is important because we are gonna cover some activities, some vocabulary that you need to understand and that is related with the unit that right now we are covering. Right here, you are gonna hear, you're gonna listen 15 different phrases, like common phrases that you can use in your daily routines and in your day-to-day activities, right? So for example, you have this first one right here, live in a flat. Somebody knows what a flat is? Do you have any idea? Flat. So basically, a flat is the same that an apartment, right? But flat is the British term, right? Remember that we are studying English from England. So these guys, they have some different terms. So flat, it's the same as saying apartment, okay? Now, you have also have breakfast or lunch and dinner, right? Remember that I told you, even though have means tengo, right? It also, in this phrase like this, it's gonna mean like I'm eating breakfast, okay? So remember that. You can either say, I eat breakfast, or you can also say, I have breakfast. Now, watch TV. Remember that I told you the difference about between watch, see, and look, right? Since this little guy right here is watching at the TV, this is the correct term, right? We also have listen to the radio. Listen to the radio, right? This is a really old radio, but still, listen to the radio. Right here, you have read the newspaper. Read the newspaper. There's still people that read the newspaper, even though we can do it from the cell phone too, right? But this is the term, read the newspaper. You also have eat fast food, right? Fast food is McDonald's, KFC, right? Burgers, French fries. So eat fast food. Drink tea. This is a really common activity in United Kingdom. Drink tea. Speak English. This is something that you are doing right now. Speak English. Want a coffee, right? He's thinking about getting a coffee, right? He wants coffee. Have a dog, right? You have a dog. So look, right here you have a dog, and right here you have breakfast. So you're using the same verb, but since the context is different, the meaning it's gonna be different, because it's not like you are eating a dog right here, right? You have a dog, like that dog belongs to you, okay? Keep that in mind. Like cats, right? Who doesn't? I mean, I love cats. So like cats. Work in a bank, right? Like work in Banco de Pacifico. Work in a bank. Study Spanish, because there are some people like you that you are trying to learn English. There are going to be some people that are going to try to learn Spanish. So study Spanish. Go to English classes, like when you are coming to the Zoom platform, right? Go to English classes. And need a new car, because probably this is broken. Need a new car, okay? So I'm gonna play the audio and you are gonna listen to the pronunciation. If you want to, remember that you can write down the right pronunciation, because I'm gonna ask you to pronounce each of these phrases for me, okay? So pay really good attention right now.
2.36. Common verb phrases. 1. A. 1.
Live in a flat.
2.
Have breakfast.
3.
Watch TV.
4.
Listen to the radio.
5.
Read the newspaper.
6.
Eat fast food.
Eat fast food.
7.
Drink tea.
Drink tea.
8.
Speak English.
Speak English.
9.
Want a coffee.
Want a coffee.
10.
Have a dog.
Have a dog.
11.
Like cats.
Like cats.
12.
Work in a bank.
Work in a bank.
13.
Study Spanish.
Study Spanish.
14.
Go to English classes.
Go to English classes.
15.
Need a new car.
Need a new car. Okay. So once again, these are common phrases that, as you can notice, you can use it in your daily routines. So let's start, because I want to listen to your pronunciation and if there is something that you guys can improve. Okay. So let's see. Give me. I prefer having you right there. Okay. Okay, Joanna, so can you please read number 1, phrase number 1.
Live in a flat.
Yes, correct. Live in a flat. Amazing, Joanna. Thank you very much. Remember that this is the correct verb. It's not, remember the explanation that I told you yesterday, right? We have this, that is live. I live in London. I live in Guayaquil. And we have life. It's my life, right? This is my life. So don't mess with me. Okay, keep that in mind. The correct pronunciation is the one that Joanna just did. I live in a flat. Let's hear it.
2.36. Common verb phrases. 1. A. 1.
Live in a flat.
Live in a flat, okay? Let's continue. Number 2, Steven Herrera. Can you please read it for me?
Have breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Amazing, great job. Thank you very much, Steven. So remember, have breakfast. And remember that in this particular case, have means that you are eating, right? So let's hear it.
2.
Have breakfast.
Okay, let's continue with number 3. Homero Yumiseva.
Watch TV.
Watch TV, correct. Great job. Thank you, Homero. Remember that watch also means like watch like this, but in this case, because of the context, it's being used as a verb, right? Watch TV.
3.
Watch TV.
Okay. Let's continue with number 4, and let's go with Sebastián Cherres. Number 4.
Listen to the radio.
Listen to the radio, okay? Radio, that is the correct pronunciation. Can you please pronounce it, say it again, Sebastian?
Listen to the radio.
Yes, correct. Listen to the radio. Let's hear it.
4,
Listen to the radio.
Hey, great. Let's continue with number 5. Sandra Santin, can you please read number 5 for me?
Read the newspaper.
Read the newspaper. Correct. Can you please say it again, Sandra? Read the newspaper.
Read the newspaper.
Correct. Amazing. Let's hear it.
5,
Read the newspaper.
Read the newspaper. Okay, let's continue with the next one. And we are gonna go with Helen Romo. Helen, number 6.
Eat fast food.
Eat fast food. Correct. Let's hear it.
6,
Eat fast food.
Eat fast food. Okay, let's continue with the next one. And we have the number 7, and we'll go with Nancy Cruz.
Drink tea.
Drink tea. Correct. Let's hear it.
7,
Drink tea.
Drink tea. Correct. Let's continue with the next phrase, and we're gonna go with Melanie Pineda, number 8, please.
Speak English.
Speak English, correct. Notice that even though that we're talking about the language, we also use capital letter, right? Uppercase. So the E in English, it's gonna be a capital letter, okay? Speak English. Great job, Melanie. Let's hear it.
8,
Speak English.
Speak English. Okay, let's continue with the next one. We'll go with number 9. Let's see. Narcisa Navarrete, number 9, please.
Want a coffee.
Want a coffee. Correct. Great job, Narcisa. Let's hear it.
Thank you.
9,
Want a coffee.
Want coffee. Okay, let's continue with number 10. And we'll go with Joanna Riasco. Joanna, are you there? Okay, no, Joanna. Steven Herrera, can you please read number 10?
Have a dog.
Have a dog. Okay, so remember, in this case, we're using have as something that it's ours, that we have, that it's our belongings, okay? Have a dog.
10,
Have a dog.
Have a dog, okay? Let's continue with the next one, and let's see. Helen Romo, 11, please.
Like cat.
Like cats, correct. Amazing. Thank you, Helen.
11,
Like cats.
Okay, like cats. Let's continue with number 12. Homero Yumiseva, number 12.
Work in a bank.
Work in a bank, correct. Thank you, Homero. Let's hear it.
12,
Work in a bank.
Work in a bank, okay? Let's go with number 13. Joanna Riasco, 13.
Study Spanish.
Study Spanish, correct. And let's remember, once again, we're talking about the language, but we have to use capital letter, right? Capital S. So let's hear it.
13,
Study Spanish.
Study Spanish, okay? Let's continue with number 14. And we'll go with Nancy Cruz, 14.
Go to English classes.
Yes, correct. Go to English classes, right? We have not only one, but plural classes. So the correct pronunciation is as Nancy just did it, classes, okay? Let's hear it.
14.
Go to English classes.
Go to English classes, okay? And let's
15.
go with 15, Fernanda Landivar. 15, please.
Need a new car.
Need a new car. Amazing. Let's hear it.
Need a new car.
Need a new car. Correct. Great job, guys. Thank you very much for your participation in this activity. So right now we are gonna go to the next activity that it's also in the same unit. Okay, we are gonna do this activity right here, okay? We are gonna practice our listening skills. So basically, it's gonna be the same activity that you are gonna have right here, right? It's gonna be this one right here. So let's read to the instruction so we can know what do we have to do in this activity, in this upcoming activity, okay? Let's see. So basically, at the end of her holiday, if, that's the name of probably, this is if, right? It's the name, gets a taxi back to the airport. Listen, why does she say, what a nice surprise at the end? Okay, so you are gonna listen to the audio, and right here, you are gonna have two options. You either gonna have to choose between option A and option B, because in that audio, you're gonna hear probably that her flight is from Newark Airport, or her flight is from JFK. Both of them are in New York City, right? So also you will have to decide if the traffic is bad or if the traffic is good. You will also have to decide if the taxi driver is from New York or if the taxi driver is from Puerto Rico. You will have to decide if is from Manchester or if it's from London. You will have to decide if London isn't very expensive, and you will have to decide if London is very expensive. Number 6, the taxi driver's children are boys. The taxi driver's children are girls. The taxi is 8750, right? Or the taxi driver is 8715. Remember, right here it's 50, and right here it's 15, right? With N, 15. You will have to decide if the taxi driver says, have a good day or have a good flight. You will have to decide if it's late or if isn't late. And finally, you will have to listen if the gate number is B5 or C5, okay? So let's see. Right here, you have the exact same options, right? You will have to choose one of them. So I'm gonna play the audio and you are gonna pay attention, really good attention to this.
2.38.
Oh,
Where to, ma'am?
hello, to the airport, please.
JFK or Newark?
JFK, please. Ooh. Oh dear. The traffic is bad this morning.
Yes, it's terrible. Where are you from?
I'm from Manchester, but I live in London. Are you from New York?
No, ma'am. I'm from Puerto Rico.
Oh, do you like New York?
It's a great city, but it's very expensive.
London is very expensive too. Do you have children?
I have 2 daughters.
Oh, really? I have 2 sons and a daughter. David and Andrew are at university, and Carl is at school.
Okay, that was the first part, okay? And right there in that part, you got all of this content right here, okay? So let's hear the next part where you will have to choose the rest of the options.
Okay, here we are.
How much is that?
That's $87.50.
Oh, here's $100. Keep the change.
Thanks. Have a good flight.
Oh, I need to hurry. I'm late. Oh, heck.
Okay, now you're gonna hear this part right here. So you have to be aware if she's saying B5 or C5.
This is the final call for flight BA641 to London Heathrow. Would all passengers please proceed to gate B5?
I'm late.
Can I see your passport and boarding pass, please?
Here you are.
Good afternoon, madam. Your boarding pass, please.
Oh, yes.
Seat 3D. This way, please.
Oh, what a nice surprise! We meet again!
Hi. Yes. What a nice surprise.
Okay, apparently at the very end of the audio, if bumps out, like probably she meets somebody that she met before. Al final se escucha como que if se encuentra con alguien que ya se había encontrado y dice, what a nice surprise, right? Qué buena sorpresa, qué agradable sorpresa. Pero la otra persona como que no está tan emocionada de escucharla. If es kind of, no sé, tiene como que if es media atolondrada, se la ve como alguien como que media molestosa, entonces se nota un dejo de no agrado en la otra parte, okay? So we're gonna listen, of course, to this audio again. So I'm gonna pause in each of the answers. So please pay really good attention, okay? Pay really good attention because we are gonna try to answer this right now, okay? Let's play.
2.38.
We're gonna have this first answer right now, okay? Listen.
Ooh.
Where to, ma'am?
Hello, to the airport, please.
So right there, she's saying, hello, to the airport, please. But right now, we don't know to what airport. Remember, we have 2 options, Newark Airport and JFK. So let's listen.
JFK or Newark?
JFK, please.
Okay, so the taxi driver asked her where to go, Newark or JFK. So Sandra, were you able to get which of the option is the correct one?
Her flight is from JFK.
Yes, correct. Her flight is from JFK. Great job, Sandra. Let's continue with the next one. Let's see. We have 2 options. The traffic is bad or the traffic is good. Okay, so let's hear it.
Ooh. Oh dear. The traffic is bad this morning.
Okay, there you go, the answer. So Sebastián Cherres, which one is the correct option? The traffic is bad or the traffic is good?
Repeat me.
Okay, let me check if I can.
FK, please. Ooh. Oh dear. The traffic is bad this morning.
Yes.
Okay, over there she said the answer. So which one do you think it is?
The traffic is bad.
The traffic is bad. Correct, Sebastian. Great job. Because she's saying, oh, the traffic is bad this morning. Okay, great job. Thank you, Sebastian. Let's continue with the next question. We have the taxi driver, right? This guy that drives the taxi is from Puerto Rico, or the taxi driver is from New York. So let's listen.
It's terrible. Where are you from?
I'm from Manchester, but I live in London. Are you from New York?
No, ma'am. I'm from Puerto Rico.
Oh.
Okay, actually, there's two of the questions right here because she's also saying where if is, right? So let's see. Melanie, what's the correct answer right here? The taxi driver is from Puerto Rico or New York?
The taxi driver is from Puerto Rico.
Amazing, correct. Great job, Melanie. So I'm gonna replay this part because you will have to understand where is it from London or from Manchester. Remember, right there in the audio, you're gonna listen to both of these cities, but she's only saying that she lived in one of them. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let me repeat this part.
I'm from Manchester, but
Terrible. Where are you from?
I'm from Manchester, but I live in London.
Okay, so Homero Yumiseva, which one do you think is the correct one?
It is from Manchester.
It is from Manchester, correct. Great job, Homero, because she says, I'm from Manchester, but I live in London, right? It's like you said, I'm from Guayaquil, but I live in Babahoyo, right? So same thing right here. Let's hear number 5. We have two options. London isn't very expensive and London is very expensive. So let's hear it.
Are you from New York?
No, ma'am. I'm from Puerto Rico.
Oh, do you like New York?
It's a great city, but it's very expensive.
London is very expensive too. Do you?
Okay, so right there's the answer. Nancy, which one is the correct option right here?
London is very expensive.
London is very expensive, correct. Great job, Nancy, thank you. Now let's continue with number 6. And right here, you will have to notice if the taxi driver have boys or girls, right? He's gonna mention if he has boys or girls. So let's hear it.
Have children?
I have 2 daughters.
Oh, really? Do you have children? London is very expensive too. Do you have children?
I have 2 daughters.
Oh, really?
Over there is the answer. So Helen Romo, which one do you think is the correct one?
No la escuché bien.
Okay, I'm gonna repeat that part, okay? Let's hear it. Remember that this guy is from Puerto Rico, right? So he has a strong accent, okay? So let's hear it.
Very expensive too. Do you have children?
I have 2 daughters.
Oh.
Do you have children? And what's his answer, Helen? He says, I have 2 daughters. So which one do you think is the correct one?
The taxi driver children are boys.
Are girls. Remember that daughters, right? Like this. Daughter. Daughter like this is hija, right? Daughter. But this guy right here, since he's from Puerto Rico, his pronunciation is really strong. So he says like daughter, okay? But it's a tricky one. So don't get upset, Helen, that you are not able to get it. That is why I'm trying to tell you what's the reason, okay? Let's hear it. And right now that I already told you what's the option, he's saying, like, try to understand that he's saying, I have 2 daughters, okay?
London is very expensive too. Do you have children?
I have 2 daughters.
Oh.
I have 2 daughters, this guy say, right? He has an accent. So that is why it sounds like that. In some others work, they will say, I have 2 daughters. But that is why you hear it different. So let's go with number 7, right? In this part, you will have to try to understand if the taxi is 87.50 or 87.15. Okay, let's hear it.
Oh, really? I have 2 sons and a daughter. David and Andrew are at university, and Carla's at school.
Okay, over there, we're gonna just hear that part.
Okay, here we are.
How much is that?
That's $87.50.
Okay, so which one is the correct option? Let's see, Álvaro Álava.
First ones.
The first one,
Option. Sí.
this one right
Yes.
here, yeah. The taxi is $87.50. Correct. Great job, Álvaro. Thank you. Now, let's continue. The taxi driver said something to Eve, right? We have to identify if the taxi driver is saying, have a good day or have a good flight. Okay, let's listen.
Oh, here's $100. Keep the change.
Thanks. Have a good flight.
Okay, let's see, Steven, what's the correct option right here?
Have a good flight.
Have a good flight. Amazing. Great job, Steven. Thank you. Now, right here is like you will have to understand the context, right? If is on time or if is late. Okay, let's hear it.
Oh, I need to hurry. I'm late. Oh.
I need to hurry, right? It's like, hurry up. I'm late. Okay, so what's the correct option right here? Narcisa Navarrete.
If it's late.
Yes, exactly. If it's late, because she's saying, I need to hurry. I'm late. Okay, great job, Narcisa. Now, the last one, let's remember, we need to understand if the gate number is B5, B5, or C5. So it's not if the one that it's gonna tell the number of the gate, but it's gonna be the guy on the speaker, ¿verdad? No va a ser if la que dice el número de la puerta, sino que lo va a decir esta persona en el interlocutor. Okay, so let's listen.
This is the final call for flight BA641 to London Heathrow. Would all passengers please proceed to gate B5?
At the very end of that part, first of all, he mentions the number of the flight, right? And at the very end, he says the number of the gate. I'm gonna repeat it, okay?
This is the final call for flight BA641 to London Heathrow. Would all passengers please proceed to gate B5?
All the passengers proceed to gate, and what's the correct option right here? Melanie.
The gate number is B5.
Correct. Great job, Melanie. So the gate number is B5. Let's click it into finish the attempt. And we got them, all of them right. Okay, great job, guys. So look, it's important that we practice the listening, your listening skills, because it's not the same that you listen to me, that you listen to some other people from these audios, because they are in real situations, they are native speakers, right? They are using some other terms, probably the sound is not the appropriate one, right? So that is why you guys need to practice listening skills. You guys did it just amazing right now, ¿verdad? Lo hicieron súper bien, pero es importante que practiquemos los listening skills, porque no todo el mundo habla como yo hablo, ¿no? Esta gente de acá, primero que hay ruido alrededor, ¿verdad? También son nativos, ingleses, en este caso, y es una situación muy recurrente que uno hable con personas de otro país inglés y tengan estos acentos súper fuertes, como el taxista de aquí de Puerto Rico, que no se le entendía también la palabra daughter, ¿verdad? Él decía daughter, pero ahí uno va tratando de entender, ¿no? Entonces, eso es el objetivo de estas actividades. Now, let's continue with the next activity, right? And right here, remember that we also have some pronunciation activities, such as this one right here. So you guys are going to listen to some words right here. So we have, for example, the sound w, which, right? Witch is that lady that have a broom, ¿verdad? Es una bruja, witch. And in this group of words, we have where, when, work, and welcome, right? When I say welcome, guys, to my class, welcome. You also have vase as florero, vase. And in this group, you have half, leaf, Betty, and TV. And finally, you have this group with the word clock, right? You see that my mouth, it opens, right? Clock, what, want, watch, coffee, dogs. Okay, so please listen, and if you want to remember, you can write down the pronunciation, because I'm gonna ask you to tell me how to properly pronounce after the audio.
2.39.
Which? W.
W.
Where? When?
When.
Work.
Work.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Vase.
Vase.
V.
V.
Have.
Have.
Live.
Live.
Very.
Very.
TV.
TV.
Clock.
Clock.
Oh.
Oh.
What?
What?
Want.
Want.
Watch.
Watch.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Dogs.
Dogs. Okay, so let's hear it. Fernanda Landívar, can you please pronounce can you please pronounce the first group of words?
Which, where, when, where, welcome.
Welcome, correct. Great job, Fernanda, thank you. Now, let's go with the next group, and we're gonna go with Sebastián Cherres, group number 2, this one right here.
Así sonó.
Yes, and how do you pronounce this?
Have, very, live, TV.
Okay, remember that the pronunciation right here is live, live, okay? And this is, as you say it, vas, okay?
Vas.
You say it correctly, okay? Vas. Like, I think that right now there is a brand of clothes right here in Ecuador that has like a similar name, Vas, okay? Thank you very much, Sebastián, for your participation. And let's go with the last group, this one right here, oh, right? Let's go with Helen Romo. Can you please help me reading this group of words?
Yeah. Clock, want, coffee, want, dogs, watch.
Okay, great job. Remember that right here, the pronunciation is clock, right? Oh. So the thing is that even though you can say what, the correct and the appropriate pronunciation is like with O, like what, right? Not what, but what. Want, right? No es una O completa, pero sí es una A bastante abierta. What, want, watch, coffee, dog. Okay, keep that in mind. Great job, guys. Now, let's go with this next activity, this one right here. Complete 2 to 10 with a verb from the list. So right now, we are going to practice the simple tense, the simple present tense, I'm sorry. So you're going to click into this activity right here. And thing is that you will find, right, some of these verbs right here. You have the verb listen, go, live, knit, watch, speak, drink, eat, read, and have. And right here, you have 10 different possible questions. So basically, you will need to try to fix each of these verbs into one of these questions. And again, they have to make sense, right? So you have 2 options right here. I mean, you have 2 different questions. Aquí ustedes encuentran 2 preguntas, ¿verdad? You have near here. Near, it's the same as close, ¿verdad? Cerca. Near here, in a flat, in a house or a flat, okay? So if we are talking about near here and house or flat, which one do you guys think is a good option that fits into right here? Neat, right? It doesn't make sense. Listen near here in a flat or a house. Go near here or go in a house or a flat. Live near here or live in a house or a flat. That makes sense, right? Because I'm asking you if you live near here, okay? So something that I want to tell you, algo que les quería decir, es que cuando escríbanlo todo con minúscula, porque está calibrado de esa manera. Si le ponen la primera con mayúscula, que debería ser así, les va a poner incorrecto, ¿ok? So, live near here or live in a house or a flat. Básicamente aquí yo pregunto, ¿vives cerca de aquí? O también puedo preguntar, ¿vives en una casa o en un apartamento? ¿Ok? Now, let's go with number 2. Brothers and sisters, a cat or a dog. So which of all of these verbs is a possible one? Remember that live, it's already gone. Okay, live, you have to delete it. So Homero, which one do you think is a right option right here?
Have.
Yes, correct. Great job, Homero. Have brothers and sisters or have cat or dog. Okay, great job. So live and have already gone. Delete it. Let's continue with the next one. We have MTV, right? Or CNN. So MTV, remember, that is a television program like this network, and also CNN is a news network. So which one of all of these verbs will be an appropriate one? Sandra Santin, which one do you think is the correct verb right here?
Watch MTV, CNN.
Yes, amazing. Watch MTV, watch CNN, correct. So live, have, and watch already gone. Let's continue. To pop music, to classical music. Nancy, which one do you think is the right option right here?
Listen.
Yes, correct. Listen to pop music, listen to classical music. Correct. Great job, Nancy.
Thank you.
Now, the next one, we have a newspaper, right? Newspaper as El Expreso, as El Universo. That is newspaper. Magazines. Magazine as Selecciones, Hola, I don't remember any other names, like Vogue. Those are magazines, okay? So which one do you think is the right option right here? Melanie, number 5.
Read a newspaper, read magazine.
Amazing, great job, correct. Read a newspaper or read magazines, correct. Let's continue. So live, have, watch, listen, and read, already gone, okay? Let's continue with number 6. Meet, right? Remember that this is vocabulary from before. Meat as a cow, right? Meat as the thing that you go to restaurants and you ask for. And you also have a lot of chocolate, So you have food right here. So Narcisa Navarrete, which verb do you think it's the one that fits right here?
Eat.
Eat, right? Correct. Eat meat, eat a lot of chocolate. Correct. Now let's go with number 7. Coke, right? Like this one right here. See, this is a Coke, right? No Coca-Cola, this is Coke. Or beer, the one that I showed you yesterday, right? Pilsener Club. Now, let's see. Alvaro Alava, which one do you think is the correct option right here?
Drink.
Drink, right? Drink Coke, drink beer. Amazing. Thank you, Alvaro. Now, let's continue with number 8. We have French, German. So we're talking about right here languages, right? So Steven, which one do you think is the correct verb right here?
Speak French, speak German.
Speak French or speak German. Amazing. Great job, Steven. Now we have number 9. A new phone, a new car, right? And we, at this point, we only have 2 verbs left. We have need and we have go. Those are the only 2 verbs left. So which one do you think is the correct one right here? A new phone, a new car. Joanna Riasco.
Need a new phone. Need a new car.
Correct. Great job. Need a new phone or need a new car. And finally, we have go to a gym or go to the cinema on weekends. Okay. So let's click into finish the term. So you can check your answers, and yes, we got them, all of them correct. Remember that, as I told you, you have to use lowercase because that is the way that the setting is at this activity. Okay, now let's close this. Okay, so we are gonna do a speaking activity. Okay, so what we are gonna do is that you guys are gonna go into the private rooms, right? I'm gonna send you with a partner, with a classmate, and you guys are gonna practice your speaking skills. How? Okay, good question. So you will have to use these phrases right here, right? The ones that we just did. You will have, just give me a quick second because I want to write the things that you have to practice, okay? Déjenme escribirles de manera exacta lo que tienen que practicar para que puedan hacerlo con sus compañeros, okay? Give me a second.
No, chiquitito. Todavía no es hora.
Okay, I'm back and I already have the questions that you need to, what's this? The questions that you guys need to practice with your classmate. Okay, let me share my screen. And these are the questions that you will need to practice. Okay, let me check. There you go. Okay, so you have this first question right here. Do you have brothers and sisters? I don't know, that is up to you, right? You can say, yes, I do, or no, I don't, right? You also have, do you have cat or dog? I don't know if you have cat or dog. So you can say, I have cat, I have a cat, I have a dog, or you can say, I don't have pets. Also, you have this question. Do you listen to pop music or classical music? Classical music. So also this is up to you. You can either say, I listen to pop music or I listen to classical music. Do you read magazines or newspapers? You will say, I read, I don't know, that is up to you. I read newspapers, I read magazines. Do you drink Coke or Pepsi? So you will say, I drink Coke, or if you prefer Pepsi, you will say, I drink Pepsi. Do you speak English or Spanish? So that is also up to you. I speak English and Spanish, or I speak Spanish. And finally, you have, do you go to the gym or do you go to the cinema? I go to the gym or I go to the cinema. That is up to you, okay? So I'm gonna send you this through the chat so you can have access to the questions. Let me try to. Okay, I'm gonna send you this in a bit. Just give me a quick minute. Okay. The pictures have been sent into the chat, okay? So I'm gonna assign you with a classmate so you can go to a private room and you can practice these questions, okay? So as usual, I'm gonna go into the sessions, into your private rooms, so I can check your pronunciation and check how you guys are doing, okay? So any questions?
¿Cuánto tiempo tenemos para hacer la actividad?
Good question. You'll have, it's 10:31. You will have until 10:45. Okay, 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Okay.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Let's see. Okay, in the first room, we're gonna have Helen, Narcisa, and Steven. Room number 2, Joanna and Nancy. Group number 3, you're gonna have Álvaro and Sebastián Cherres. Group number 4, Fernanda Landívar and Homero Yumiseva. And room number 5, Melanie and Sandra. Okay, so right now I'm gonna open the rooms and you guys are gonna leave to those private rooms, okay? So I see you in a bit. Practice.
To the cinema.
I go to the cinema.
Ok. No
Ya
sé
yo
si
le
tú
pregunto a Steven.
no sé si te gustaría preguntarnos a nosotros
Sí,
o quizás tú preguntarle a Steven.
Ya llegó la teacher.
Ay, aquí está, me está escuchando.
I was listening to you guys. Good. Nice thing, because again, I could notice that it's like you don't need me to be there, so you practice. So good for you. The only thing that I will mention, remember that the correct pronunciation is cinema, right? Cinema. That is the correct pronunciation.
Okay.
Keep going, okay? Thank you very much. So I'm gonna be back in a while, okay?
Thank you.
Cinema. Se pronuncia, así se pronuncia así.
Yes, correct. That is a really good tool that you have there. When you have any doubt about how to pronounce some word, do that, right? Do that. So the correct pronunciation is cinema, right? Cinema.
Sí,
Okay.
estamos justamente mencionando lo del estrés.
Estrés. Al cine para desestresarse, tú dices.
Ya, ok. Bueno, yo le voy a hacer unas 3 preguntas de las que están acá y el resto me las va a hacer a mí Nancy, ¿ya? Ok. A ver, Nancy, vamos compañerita, listo. Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a cat or dog?
I have a cat.
Do you listen to pop music or classical music?
I listen to pop music.
Y ahora tú.
Okay, Joanna. Do you read newspapers or magazines?
I read newspapers.
Okay. Do you drink Coke or Pepsi?
I don't, no, ay, se me fue. I don't drink Coke or Pepsi.
Okay. Do you speak English or Spanish?
I speak Spanish.
Do you go to the gym or do you go to the cinema?
Do you go to this? A ver, I go to cinema.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't have any observations. You did it amazing. Okay. So I can notice, I mean, I gotta say it, like in every class, there are gonna be people that it's gonna have more, let's say, like they are gonna be more enthusiastic, right? And those are you, Joanna, Nancy, also Sandra. So I noticed that you guys wanna learn and you are in the right path, okay? So great job, guys. Keep going, okay? Keep practicing because you can try to understand and learn all of the grammar rules. And that is correct. But if you don't speak, you're never gonna reach your objective, okay? So go in there and whenever you have the opportunity, speak. Even though probably at first you're gonna feel embarrassed, you're gonna feel like shame, it doesn't matter, okay? You're in a safe place. Cuando tengan la oportunidad, como en esto, hablen, porque se pueden saber todas las reglas gramaticales del mundo, pero si no lo hablan, no van a llegar a ningún lado, okay? So, great job, guys. Keep practicing, okay? I'm gonna go to the other groups. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, Alvaro. Hi, Sebastian. So, did you guys practice?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please do it in front of me so I can give you some feedback?
Te pregunto yo. Do you have brothers and sisters?
No, I don't.
Do you have a cat or dog?
I have a dog.
Do you listen to pop music or classic music?
I am listen to pop music.
Just a quick observation.
Pop music. I listen to pop music.
Yes, great.
Do you read newspapers or magazines?
I read newspapers.
I read.
I read newspapers.
Do you drink Coke?
Coke.
Coke or Pepsi?
I drink Coke.
Do you speak English or Spanish?
I speak Spanish.
Do you go to the gym or do you go to the cinema?
I go to the gym.
Cinema.
I go to the gym. I go to gym.
Okay.
Cambiamos las preguntas. O sea,
Yes,
pregunto yo.
please.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have brother and sister?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a car or dog?
I have a dot.
Do you listen to pop music or classic music?
I listen to pop music.
Do you read newspaper or magazines?
I read a newspaper.
Do you drink Coke or Pepsi?
I drink Pepsi.
Do you speak English or Spanish?
I speak Spanish.
Do you go the gym or do you go the cinema?
You go.
I go
the
to
gym.
cinema.
Okay, go to the gym.
I go to the cinema.
Okay.
Okay, great job, guys. The only observations that you need is the one that I already did, right? Great job, great pronunciation. So remember that even though probably you are good at writing or you are good at understanding the grammar rules, if you don't speak English, you are not going to move forward. So every time that you got the opportunity, the chance to speak, do it, okay? You are getting better. Both of you are doing great because at first, Sebastian, you were having like some troubles, but right now you are doing amazing, okay? So congrats to both of you guys. Thank you, okay? I'm gonna go to the other groups. Hi, Homero, and hi, Fernanda. Hi, guys. So can you please practice and ask the question to each other so I can hear you?
Okay, miss.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a cat or dog?
I have a dog.
Do you listen to pop music or classic music?
I listen to pop music.
Do you read newspapers or magazines?
I read newspapers.
Do you drink Coke or Pepsi?
I drink Coke.
Do you speak English or Spanish?
I speak English.
Do you go to the gym or do you go to the cinema?
I go to the gym. Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a cat or dog?
I have a dog.
Do you listen to pop music or classical music?
I listen to pop music.
Do you read newspapers or magazines?
I read magazine.
Do you drink Coke or Pepsi?
I drink Coke.
Do you speak English or Spanish?
I speak in English.
Do you go to the gym or do you go to the cinema?
I go to the cinema.
Okay, great job, guys. Just a friendly reminder. Both of you, I think that you are having some assignments that you have not delivered, right? Remember that all of that is great. So, recuerden, hay algunas actividades que no han entregado. Todo eso ha sido notas. El día de hoy, a lo que culmine la clase, yo les voy a dar las notas hasta el momento, como para que ustedes estén al tanto de cuál es la nota suya hasta el momento, ¿no? El día de ayer ingresó Arturo Ramírez, el coordinador de la Academia de Idiomas, a dar este tipo de de instrucciones, ¿no? La clase está grabada, tanto esta como la de ayer. Me parece que en los próximos días la subirán en el canal de YouTube, por si ustedes desean revisar los días que se han ausentado, ¿sí? So, about your pronunciation, great job. So my only suggestion is that every time that you have the chance and the opportunity to speak, do it, okay? Because I noticed that both of you are good in English. You have good bases, okay? So that is the only thing that I have to mention. Thank you, Homero, and thank you, Fernanda. Okay, I see you. Ajá, Fernanda.
Igual he tratado de ponerme al día con las actividades, ahora me he atrasado por el tema también de la universidad y todo eso. Y hay algunas hay unas actividades que que no les puedo, o sea, que no las puedo hacer.
Es que ya se cancelaron, las actividades tienen un tiempo límite. Entonces, todas esas actividades yo las registro, las personas que cumplen y las que no, y ahí están, o sea, yo ya tengo mi registro ahí. Si tú ya las ingresaste o las hiciste después de eso, pues no van a contar como la misma nota, no va a ser un 10, sino que podrá ser un 5, como para no perjudicarte y ponerte el 0, porque me parece que tienes algunas actividades que no has presentado. Por ejemplo, me parece que el writing ya se cerró porque tienen temporizador, entonces si no te permite hacerlas por eso. Okay, I'm gonna go to the last group because I still have one group left, okay? So I see you in a bit. Hey, Melanie.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, so can you guys practice so I can listen to both of you?
Okay, teacher.
Sandra, do you have brother and sister?
Yes, I do. I have 4 sisters.
Do you have a cat or dog?
I have a dog.
Do you listen to pop music or classical music?
I listen to classical music.
Do you read newspaper or magazine?
I read magazine.
Do you drink Coke or Pepsi?
I drink water.
Do you speak English or Spanish?
I speak Spanish.
Do you go to the gym or do you go to the cinema?
I go to the gym. Melanie, do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do. I have a brother.
Do you have a cat or dog?
I have 2 dogs.
Do you listen to pop music or classical music?
I listen pop music.
Do you read newspaper or magazine?
I read magazine.
Do you drink Coke or Pepsi?
I drink Coke.
Do you speak English or Spanish?
I speak Spanish.
Do you go to the gym or do you go to the cinema?
I go to the cinema.
Thank you, Melanie.
Okay, so the only thing, remember that the pronunciation is cinema, okay? Cinema.
La mayor fuerza es el cinema.
Cinema, yes.
Okay,
So
teacher.
great job, guys. Amazing job. I mean, especially Melanie, you have good bases. I think that you are really good in English. So you are probably you have better knowledge than some of other your classmates. So great job. In the case of Sandra, I mean, I gotta say that you improve. I mean, you have get really good. So congrats to that, Sandra. Lo estás haciendo excelente. Las bases de Melanie, en lo que he percibido, Melanie entró con muy buenas bases, ¿ya? Porque siempre atina a las respuestas, tienes buena pronunciación. Pero en el caso de Sandra, entiendo que entraste casi de 0, Sandra. Y tu pronunciación, o sea, muy bien. Créeme que si vas en ese camino, como lo decía ayer Arturo, en 1 año y medio tú tienes tu B1, porque lo estás haciendo espectacular, ¿sí? Entonces, excelente. La verdad que estoy muy contenta y eso les voy a decir ya mismo a todos en el grupo, porque a excepción de un par de chicos que hay que estarlos arreando, pero tienen muy buena predisposición y se los agradezco muchísimo y se nota en su desenvolvimiento. ¿Sí? Así que muchas gracias. Me voy ya a la sala principal y ya los traigo a todos, ¿ok? See you in a bit.
Good teacher.
Okay. Okay, guys, so we are done with the activity. I'm gonna close all of the rooms so you guys can come to the main room to continue with the class.
Point 43. It's 3 o'clock.
Okay, this is the audio I was looking for. Okay, guys. So as I was saying to some of you in the private rooms, I gotta say that you guys are like a really good group. You guys are doing amazing. Forgive me if I keep saying this, but it's true, right? Because again, I have been working, I have worked with some other students, and I have good students, bad students, average students, but in your case, you group, you have a good behavior, right? You wanna learn. And I noticed that because your improvement, it's magnificent. So keep going, guys. I know that sometimes it's kind of difficult, to getting up every weekend, right? On Sundays, on Saturdays, that usually it's time that you have to rest, to watch TV, to share with your family, and you are doing a sacrifice right now. And believe me, all of this, you are going to have a reward after that because you are investing your time. And believe me that the best thing that you can do is invest your time in education. So congrats to that, and thank you very much for being a really good and a really you guys you participate the whole time, and that is awesome, at least for me. Okay, now we're gonna continue with, this is a really, let's say, a dynamic part, right? For example, Melanie, if I ask you, what time is it? Can you tell me the time?
It's 10:36.
Yeah, it's 10, in my case, it's 10:56, right? In your case too?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the same hour, okay. So look, there's some other ways to tell the time, right? Because we have the American way and we also have the British way, okay? So right now, again, both of them are gonna be correct. The one that Melanie just said is correct. I understand that she said 10, in that case, she said 10:56, right? Me dijo son 10:56, que es la manera americana de decir. But then again, we have some other way, and you need to get familiar with that, right? Because let's say that you are talking with a British people, you are talking with a British man, right? And you have to understand what that guy is trying to say. So right now we are gonna try to discover that new way of telling the time, okay? So I'm gonna share my screen. And look, you're gonna have like some different times to tell, right? Because for example, right, this is something that remains the same. You have 3 o'clock, right? 3 en punto. that remains the same. But British people, instead of saying it's 3:05, son 3:05, así como dicen los americanos, they say it in this way. It's 3:05. Son 5 pasadas las 3. That is the way that they say. So besides this, that this is a listening activity that we are gonna do, I wanna show you this picture that probably it's gonna be really useful because it's gonna show you how to actually tell the time. Look at this. Look, so basically right here, whenever you have en punto, you're gonna say the number and o'clock, right? For example, in just 1 minute, it's gonna be 11 o'clock, right? You're gonna say the number o'clock. So based on this example right here, you have it's 3 o'clock, right? But what happens when the hours, like the minutes, start running, right? So in this case, if I wanna say this in American English, I will say it's 3:05. En inglés americano yo diría son 3:05. But British English, you're gonna say it's 3:05. 3:05. So if you go further, you're gonna say it's 10:03, right? Whenever you have it right here in 15, ¿verdad? En el cuarto, it's 3:15. It's 20:03. It's 25:03. It's, in this case, it's 3:30. In this case, it's gonna be, it's 3:30, ¿verdad? Entonces, si se fijan, desde aquí es o'clock. Toda esta parte es past. Past. Es 5 pasada las 3, es 10 pasada las 3, es cuarto pasada las 3, es 20 pasada las 3, es 25 pasada las 3 y es half, ¿verdad? Es como que la mitad pasada las 3. A partir de aquí, change a bit, because right here I'm not going to be using past, but I'm going to be using to, porque yo ya voy a decir it's 25 to, y ya no voy a decir 3, sino que diría 4. Son 25 para las 4. Son 20 para las 4. It's 3:45. It's 3:50. It's 5:45. And, well, finally, it's going to be 4, right? So that is the other way that you probably someday you're going to see some people telling the time like this. So once again, the way that Melanie said, it's valid, it's correct. But because we need to learn all of the possible ways to tell the time, you guys need to get familiar with this, okay? So to recap, remember, whenever we have o'clock, it's like it's sharp, ¿verdad? Está en punto. It's, well, right now it's not 11 o'clock, but let's say that it's 11 o'clock, okay? It's 11 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock, right? So after that, you are gonna go, it's 5 past, in this case, 3. It's 10 past 3. It's 3:15, and the same thing until right here. It's half, right? Como que cuando uno dice 3:30, it's half. It's 3:30. Now, once that you get into the other side, it's gonna change a bit. And as you can see right here, it's gonna be different because you're gonna have, it's 25 to, right? 25 to, and the next hour. So 25 to 4. It's 20 to 4. It's 3:45. It's 10 to 4. It's 5 to 4. And finally, the o'clock, right? I know that this is a bit new. I know that this is something that you are not familiar with, but that is why we're trying to get familiar with this new way to say, well, to tell the time, okay? So I'm gonna play this audio and you guys are gonna try to listen and repeat at the times, because as you can see it, right here you have the time and all above the clock, above the watch, let's say it, you have how to properly say the time in the British way, okay? So please listen to this, and after that, we are gonna do a fun activity, okay? Let me open this, okay, there you go.
2.43. It's 3 o'clock.
It's 3 o'clock.
It's 3:05.
It's 5 past.
It's 10 past 3.
It's 10 past 3.
It's 3:15.
It's 15 past.
It's 20 past 3.
It's 20 past 3.
It's 25 past 3.
It's 25 past 3.
It's 3:30.
It's 3:30.
It's 25 to 4.
It's 25 to 4.
It's 20 to 4.
It's 20 to 4.
It's 3:45.
It's 4:45.
It's 10 to 4.
It's 10 to 4.
It's 5 to 4.
It's 5 to 4. Okay. So we are not gonna do this, right? But we are gonna do some other activity. Okay. We are gonna work with the same platform that we did yesterday. You guys remember that I think the name was Quizlet. Okay. So we are gonna do an activity into that platform. Just give me a second because I need to open it. Okay, so once again, if you are kind of confused and this is something new for you, it's okay, because then again, you have been used to tell the time in some other way, right? So the whole thing with this is that we are familiar with all of the possible ways to tell the time. So don't get frustrated, don't stress. This is something new and you're gonna get familiar eventually, okay? Remember that this picture of telling the time is in your notes. So if you wanna double check it, and if you wanna have it to do the activity that we are about to do, well, feel free to do it, okay? Second. Okay, now I think that I'm gonna be able to share the activity with you. So basically, it's gonna be similar to the activities that you have been done in the last days, right? You're gonna scan the code or you're gonna access to the activity through your cell phone, and you are gonna find some hours, right? You're gonna find some clocks telling the hour, telling the time. So basically, you will have to choose what's the correct option. Okay, so that is the activity that we are gonna do right now. Okay, give me a second so I can share with you the code and the link. Okay, give me a minute. I'm sending this through the chat. Okay, there you go. It's already in there. I'm also gonna send it right here. And finally, I'm gonna share the QR code so you can scan it and log in directly. Remember, add your name, our last name, so I can recognize who is each student. Okay, I already have 2, 3. I have 6, 7. There are still 3 students left. 8. Yeah, you already have Álvaro, Helen, Steven, Nancy, Narcisa, Melanie, Joana, Sandra, Fernanda, and Homero. Yeah. There you go. Okay. We're all set. So right now, I'm gonna start the game. So please pay attention and remember, this is all about practice, okay? Don't get frustrated, don't stress yourself. And once again, if you need to double check right here, you have this picture that can guide you into how to tell the time in this new way, okay? Let's click it. Okay. So you're gonna find 10 questions, remember. How you guys doing? Let's see. Okay, Steven is in the first place. Nancy is close second, and Melanie in third place. Melanie is now in the second place. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna have 1 more minute, okay? 1 more minute, and then we are gonna check your answers. Okay, 6 of you are already done with the activity. Okay, 30 more seconds, 30 more, yeah, 30 seconds more, and after that, we are gonna be done with the activity. Okay. We're almost done, so 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, and we are gonna be done with the activity, okay? Let me click into the finish button. There we go. Okay, so let's check to the results of this, okay? Great job, Steven, you're in the first place. Second place for Melanie Pineda, and finally, Nancy Cruz on the third place, so great job. So let's check, let me mute this. Okay. Now it's quiet, and let's check of your questions. Look, Steven got all of them right, same thing with Melanie, right? Most of you did it like nicely, right? Once again, this is something new, right? I don't know if you were familiar with this. Steven, were you familiar with this way to tell the time, or this is new for you?
Un poquito, o sea, lo de, ¿cómo es? Cuando se dice it's quarter to 10, por ejemplo, eso no sabía, no me acordaba, mejor dicho.
Okay, but you were familiar with it. It was not new.
Sí. Ajá.
Okay. Thank you, Steven. What about you, Joanna? Were you familiar with this way to tell the time?
Bueno, sí, para poder determinar el tiempo entre el lado del 12 al 6, y los que son it's by 2, por ejemplo. Hay dificultades.
Ok, but ¿estaba familiarizada con este método, con esta manera, o es totalmente nuevo para ti?
No, esto es nuevo.
Okay. So I think
that, clock todo el tiempo.
Yes, I think that Joanna's situation probably is the same of most of you, because we usually stick to the American way, right? And that is good. Again, that is valid too, but we need to see like beyond, right? We need to see like there are many ways to tell the time, and this is one of them, okay? So the thing that I want to mention is that if you want to practice this, believe me, you can probably try to tell the time in your daily routine, in this way. That is a really good way to practice. Otherwise, I mean, it's gonna take some time so you get used to tell the time into this way. Entonces, una manera que les recomiendo si quieren familiarizarse, practicar esto es en su día a día, decir la hora de esta manera, ¿no? A manera de práctica, ¿no? Para irse familiarizando, porque si es un poco diferente esto de que una parte es past two y en el otro es to, ¿verdad? Entonces, hasta que se vayan familiarizando, sería una buena manera de ir practicando, ¿ok? So, great job, guys. Cuéntame, Steven.
Pero, por ejemplo, la manera en la que tenemos que usar en sí es como hemos practicado, o sea, diciendo past y to. O también podemos decir, por ejemplo, it's 11:20, por ejemplo.
Es que esa es la manera americana, pero como nosotros, por decirte, es válido. Lo que tú me estás diciendo es válido. Pero por decirte, si dentro de cuando tome, porque en lo que le escuché, como que Arturo quiere que le hagan el examen de manera, el speaking, ¿verdad? En Flipgrid. Entonces, digamos que dentro de una de las cosas que te diga, que digas el tiempo. Lo ideal y lo recomendable es que lo digas de esta manera que lo estamos viendo ahora, porque nos estamos basando en el sílabus, ¿verdad? En el contenido de la clase, en lo que estamos abordando. Un ejemplo, si por ejemplo te dicen que digas la hora y tú dices la hora americana, en lugar de tener el 10 de esa parte vas a tener a la final un 7 o un 8, porque no es que esté mal, pero se te está pidiendo de esta manera, ¿ya? Entonces, hago énfasis que ambas maneras están bien, pero nosotros ahorita nos estamos rigiendo por el tema de inglés británico. Ese es el libro que estamos utilizando, por eso les hago las acotaciones también de que flat es lo mismo que apartment, sino que flat se lo utiliza en UK, ¿verdad? Y apartment en United States. Son cosillas así, ¿ok? Okay, now, thank you very much, guys, for doing this activity, for taking your time in to do this activity. I gotta say that those activities over there in that platform, I have to create them, right? Those are no activities that are in there in the website. I have to create each of them, but I mean, I do it nicely because I know that it's a different approach, so you can learn in a different way, okay? So we are gonna move into the next unit, okay? Not this one right here, but unit 6A. She works for Armani, the student book, okay? Look, this unit, it's gonna be kind of easy for you. I'm gonna say it in that way because right here, if you notice in the book, let me show you what's the content that we are gonna cover right here. Okay, so in grammar, we are gonna cover present simple. That is something that you guys are already familiar with it. But we are gonna cover present simple with the pronouns he, she, and it. And this is something that you guys already know, right? Because I told you that there are two different ways into approaching the present simple, right? So you guys already know that we have these two situations, these two groups, so you are familiar with it, right? Entonces ya ustedes están familiarizados con lo que vamos a ver en esta unidad, solo que la unidad le dio énfasis en la anterior a simplemente concentrarse en estos pronombres, y ahora en esta unidad se va a concentrar en los pronombres de acá. So you are gonna be fine, okay? This is gonna be easy peasy for you. Now, let's start with this first activity that is a true or false activity. So if there is a true or false activity, most likely we are gonna have to read something, right? To read it and to understand it in order to have the correct answer. So you guys are gonna go into this part and you guys have a listening, right? You have an audio track. So let's read to the instructions. Let's read the questions And after that, we are gonna listen to the audio. Mark the sentences T for true and F for false. And you have this, you have Andrew York is a journalist. Journalist is as, what's the name of this guy? Espinosa de los Monteros, right? Don Alfonso, that is a journalist. Kim is Andrew's wife. Kim is Andrew's wife. Anna Crowley works for their magazine. He works for Vogue magazine, right? So if you go to the book, you're probably gonna be familiar with this, right? This is The Devil Wears Prada, this amazing and really nice movie with Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, right? So they are taking this picture and basically they're gonna have that situation, okay? So you will have to listen, right? And right here, you will be able to also read and follow what the listening is gonna say, okay? So I'm gonna play the audio and you are gonna try to follow the listening.
2.52. Who's that?
Anna Crawley.
Does she work for our magazine?
No, she doesn't. She works for Armani.
Okay. Ah, hello, Anna. Mwah, mwah. How are you?
I'm fine. Great to see you, Alice. Nice party.
Thanks. And who's that man over there?
Andrew York. He's a journalist.
Where does he work?
He works for Hello magazine.
Hi, Andrew. Mwah, mwah. Nice to see you here.
Hello, Alice. Beautiful dress.
Thank you. And is this your wife?
No, Kim's a friend.
He doesn't have a wife. He's divorced.
Okay, I don't know, any of you have watched this movie before? Nancy, have you watched this movie?
Yes.
Okay, so it's similar to that scene where she is like in this big ball, in this big party. And
Yes, the
since
party,
she's not familiar with all of the faces, she asked for both of the assistants to tell them, hey, this is this guy from this magazine. And she acts like she knows everybody when actually she doesn't, okay? Entonces, es esa escena en donde las asistentes le comienzan a decir quién es cada persona, porque ella no conoce a todo el mundo, pero actúa como que sí. So basically, we have the same situation right here, right? And we have some people talking. We have Alice, we have Melanie, we have Anna, we have also Andrew, okay? So remember, the questions that you need to discover if they are true or false are this. I'm gonna play the audio one more time, and then we are gonna try to tell if these statements right here are true or false.
2.52. Who's that?
Anna Crawley.
Does she work for our magazine?
No, she doesn't. She works for Armani.
Okay. Ah, hello, Anna. Mwah, mwah. How are you?
I'm fine. Great to see you, Alice. Nice party.
Thanks. And who's that man over there?
Andrew York. He's a journalist.
Where does he work?
He works for Hello magazine.
Hi, Andrew. Mwah, mwah. Nice to see you here.
Hello, Alice. Beautiful dress.
Thank you. And is this your wife?
No, Kim's a friend.
He doesn't have a wife. He's divorced.
So let's try to answer to this statement right here. So we have the first one. Andrew York is a journalist. If we go to the reading part, we have to look for the name Andrew York, right? And we have it right here. And who's that man over there? Andrew York. He's a journalist. Where does he work? He works for Hello Magazine. So I asked to Fernanda Landívar. So Fernanda, do you think this first statement, is it true or is it false?
True.
It's true, correct, because Andrew York is a journalist. Okay, so what about the next one? We have Kim is Andrew's wife. Okay, so if we go to the reading part, we have, hi, Andrew, nice to see you here. Hello, Alice, beautiful dress. Thank you. And is this your wife? No, Kim's a friend. Okay, and then we have Melanie saying, he doesn't have a wife, he is divorced. So Helen, which one do you think is the correct option right here? Kim is Andrew's wife, true or false?
False.
False, correct. Great job, Helen, thank you. Let's continue with the next one. Anna Crowley works for their magazine. So right here we have, who's that? Anna Crowley. Does she work for our magazine? No, she doesn't. She works for Armani. So Álvaro, do you think this statement right here, Anna Crowley works for their magazine, is it true or is it false? Álvaro?
Is false?
It's false, correct. It's false because right here she's saying, no, she doesn't. She works for Armani, okay? And finally, we have, he works for Vogue magazine. So let's go to the reading part. We have, I mean, if we're talking about he, we mostly are referring to Andrew because that is the only he is in the conversation, right? So let's see. And who's that man over there? Andrew York. He's a journalist. Where does he work? He works for Hello Magazine. That is the name of the magazine. So Sandra, do you think this is true or false? He works for Vogue magazine?
It's true.
It's true. Let's look. He works for Vogue. That is the name of this magazine right here. But look at right here in the reading. And who's that man over there? Andrew York. He's a journalist. Where does he work? He works for Hello Magazine. So this is Hello Magazine and this is Vogue magazine. True.
False.
Yes, correct. This is false. So let's click. Thank you very much, Sandra. Let's click into the temp and let's check the answers, okay? Okay, all of them are correct, okay? Now, aquí, cuando es el tema del listening, de reading, ¿verdad? Hay que ser muy minucioso al momento de leerlo, ¿no? Escucharlo, leerlo, releerlo, porque podría a veces haber respuestas medias confusas, como fue el caso de acá, ¿no? Entonces, en este caso se puede hacer esta dinámica que yo les he hecho, ¿no? Primero, leer, mi sugerencia es siempre leer lo que se está preguntando y luego leer y escuchar la conversación, ¿verdad? Entonces, if we have Andrew York is a journalist, we have a lot of conversation right here. So we only need to focus on Andrew York in this first point. And who's that man over there? Andrew York. He's a journalist. So in this case, that is why it's true. Then we have Kim is Andrew's wife. We're still talking about Andrew, but we're talking about Andrew's wife. So right here, you have, thank you, and this is your wife. right? No, Kim is a friend. So we're saying that it's definitely not his wife. Anna Croway works for their magazine. So we have to check where is Anna Croway being mentioned in the reading. So we have it right here. Who's that? Anna Croway. Does she work for our magazine? No, she doesn't. She works for Armani, right? So that is why, in this case, Anna Croway doesn't work for her magazine, their magazine. She works for Armani. And finally, we are referring right here, we are not saying names. Aquí no decimos ningún nombre, but we are using the pronoun he. And the only he mentioned right here, it's Andrew. That is why we assume that in this case, we're discussing about Andrew. He's a journalist. Where does he work? He works for Hello Magazine. There is a magazine which name they have Hello, ¿verdad? Ese es el nombre de la revista. Now, great job, guys. Let's continue with this next activity. Let me close this and go into the next part of the content, okay? So look at this. Right here, you have some explanation as the one that you guys already got yesterday in the notes. But anyway, we have to check it, right? Let's check how to do the present simple in the case of he, she, and it, right? So remember that we have different situations. We have the affirmative, we have negative, we have the questions when only we have yes and no questions, and right here you have the answer for that. So remember, whenever we use I, you, we, you, and they, the verb remains the same. But as you can see right here, if we use third person, such as he, she, and it, the verb, it's gonna be adding an S. Works, she works, it works, right? So if we are talking about, in the case of negative, remember that we need to use an auxiliary. In the case of this group of pronouns right here, we are going to be using the auxiliary don't. That is the contraction of do not. But in the case of the third person, we are going to be using doesn't. That is the contraction of does not. And quick thing, remember that because we have already right here the letter S, the S right here in work is going to be deleted, right? So keep that in mind. Now, let's practice this. And if you guys have any questions about this, well, we are gonna try to be clear about it, okay? So we have this first one. Read the conversations and complete the charge. 1D, read the conversations and complete the charge. So we are gonna click into this activity and you guys are gonna find this chart right here, right? This is the conversation that we just checked a couple of minutes ago. So basically what we have to do right here is that in this case, we have I and you in this part of the chart, but in this other part of the chart, we have to use third person, such as he and she. For example, right here, I have that this is affirmative. So we have, I work for Hello Magazine. In this case, we have to use the verb work in this other sentence right here. So we will say, he works, remember, letter S, for Hello Magazine, right? So now let's go into the negative sentence. I don't have a wife. So we have to turn this into a negative in third person. So I ask, Homero Yumiseba, how would you do this sentence in a negative way?
Doesn't have.
Yes, he doesn't. He doesn't have. Remember, the verb remains the same because letter S is already right here, okay? Now, thank you very much, Homero, for your participation. Now, let's go with this question right here. Do you work for our magazine? So we have to do this in such a way in a third person. So let's see, Joanna Riasco, how would you do this question right here?
Does she work for our magazine?
Yes, does she work for a magazine? Correct, great job. Thank you very much, Joanna. Now, then I have these two possible answers. No, I don't. And also I have no, she, and there's gonna be an auxiliary right here. Melanie, how would you answer to this question?
No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't. Correct. Great job, Melanie. Thank you very much. And finally, we have this other question, right? This question is gonna be with this WH word. Remember that we have where, what, who, which, when, right? So in this case, we have where do you work? So if we are referring to a he, how will we say this? Steven.
Where does he work?
Where does he work? Amazing. Great job, Steven. Thank you. So let's click into finishing the attempt. Okay, amazing. We got them, all of them right. Okay, so let's move forward into the next activity. And right now, we are going to have more practice into this third person, right? So I want to make you notice something, okay, that basically it's right here. There are some spelling rules. For example, I want to show you something. Right here, if we want to turn this play into place, we only add letter S, right? Same thing right here. If we want to turn this into a third person verb, we only add the S, right? We are saying live and lives. Same thing with it. We only add the S. But there are some verbs that we need to be careful about it. But because it's not only adding the S, but we have to be careful because in some cases, such as the case of watch or finishes, we are gonna adding E and S, ¿verdad? Hay ciertos verbos, que es como los que hemos venido trabajando, como play, eat, work, en los que yo solamente le aumento la S y no pasó nada más. Pero hay ciertos verbos que, como siempre nos sorprende el inglés, hay que tener cierto cuidado porque trabaja de manera diferente, ¿no? Lo que dice la regla es que words ending in CH, such as watch, in also finish, ¿verdad? Finish with SH, SS como class, for example, or X como fix. Ahí yo le voy a agregar no solo la S, sino que la ES. Example, if I say, I watch TV every night, okay? That is something that I do every night. But if I want to say that my sister watch TV every night is not correct, right? And it wouldn't be correct to only add the letter S. What I need to do is add ES, right? That is the correct way. In verbs that the ending is with CH, also verbs, my sister, verbs such as fix, ¿verdad? Porque fix termina en X, arreglar, I will say fixes, okay? Also, for example, as, let's see, as finish, right? Finish, no solamente le agrego la S, sino la ES. Now, if I have cases such as study, that is a word that ends with Y, we are gonna replace the Y with an I, and we are gonna add ES, right? So let's say, let's see. You study in Universidad Católica, right? But if I wanna say that my sister studies in Universidad Católica, I will say my sister está, I wouldn't say that. That is incorrect, right? The correct way is I'm gonna replace this Y with an I, and I'm gonna add ES. My sister studies, okay? My sister studied math, ¿verdad? Mi hermana estudia matemáticas. Okay, so any questions until that point before we move forward? Okay, so let's practice then, okay? If there is any questions about this activity, you will let me know. I know that you haven't got any break, right? So you can rest, but I promise that we are gonna finish early so you can leave and you can have some rest, okay? So that is why we haven't had the break yet. Now, this activity is the one that we are gonna develop right now. Grammar Bank 1A, rewrite the sentence. Okay, so it says, right, rewrite the sentence. So right here we have an example. If we have, I live in a flat, we will change this into third person and we will say she lives in a flat. Okay, so for example, in the first one we have they read magazines, and because we are talking about they, that is one of the groups that the verb remains the same and we don't add an S, this is correct. They read magazines, right? But if we want to change that into third person, we will say he reads magazines, right? No point. Now, if we go into the next one, I study Italian, but in this case, I'm referring to my sister, like she, right? So let me check. Nancy, how would you do this in third person? I study Italian.
My sister studies Italian.
Correct. My sister studies Italian. Remember that since this is a language, you need to write it with a capital I, Italian, okay? My sister studies Italian. Now, let's continue with the next one, number 3. Do you speak English? So let's see, right here we are referring to a he. So we are not going to be using the same auxiliary do, but we have to use a different one. So let's go with Helen Romo. How would you do this sentence, Helen?
Does he
Yes.
speak English?
Does he speak English? Correct. Great job, Helen. So remember, in this case, we are not adding he speaks, right? Because the S is already right here. Great job, Helen. Let's continue with number 4. We have, I don't eat fish. Negative, right? This is, in this case, the auxiliary. But since we are going to be referring to third person, the auxiliary, it's going to change. So let's see. What is Sebastián Cherres? Not here? Don't think that Sebastián is here. Okay. Let's see. Fernanda Landívar, how would you do number 4?
My brother eats.
Okay, we have this one right here. Remember that it has to remain negative, right? So if we are saying I don't eat fish, you have to do the same right here, but in third person. So instead of saying don't, which one do you think is the correct auxiliary, Fernanda? Doesn't. Yeah, let me show you right here. Okay, right here. Remember, the auxiliary with I, we, you, and they, it's gonna be done, right? And with he, she, and it, it's gonna be doesn't. Okay, so let's go back. So my brother doesn't what, Fernanda?
Eat fish.
Eat fish, okay? Great job. Remember, it remains the same. No S because right here the auxiliary, it's already adding the S, okay? Let's continue with number 5. Where do you work? Where, right? Donde, where, the auxiliary do because we are using you, and work. So in this case, we are referring to your wife. Your wife, it's the equivalent of saying she, right? It's a she, so that is why it's third person. So Álvaro, how would you do this question right here?
Do.
Okay, look, where do you work, right? We are referring to a she. So what is the correct auxiliary?
Those.
Does. Where does your wife? What else?
Your wife.
What's the verb, right?
Works.
Work without.
Those. And that's your work.
Yes. Where does your wife work? Okay. Great job, Álvaro. Thank you. Now let's continue with number 6. You don't speak Italian. It's negative, right? You don't. Right here, this is the auxiliary. But since we are talking about Tom, a he, we need to use a different auxiliary. So, Sandra, how would you do this sentence right here?
Tom doesn't speak Italian.
Yes, correct. Great job. Tom doesn't speak, without S, Italian. Great job. Now, number 7, do you like cats? Right? Now we are asking about somebody else. We're talking about a she. So this do, it's gonna change. It's not gonna be the same. Joanna, how would you do this? This one right here, number 7. I don't know if you are speaking, you're mute.
Does she like Like, espera.
Yeah. Does she like
Cats.
cats? Correct. Does she likes cat? Amazing. Great job, Joanna. Now, number 8. I have 2 brothers, but right now we are referring about Andrew, a he. So, Homero, how would you do number 8?
Andrew has 2 brothers.
Has 2 brothers, correct. And look at this. This is a new one, right? Look, we have half, right? But I'm gonna tell you something that probably you are not gonna like. In English, we have regulars and we have irregular verbs. En inglés tenemos verbos regulares y verbos irregulares. Esa no es una tan buena noticia porque los verbos irregulares no siguen ninguna norma. Cambian totalmente diferentes cuando hablamos en otros tiempos, pero no los quiero amargar ahorita, eso queda para después, pero esos son verbos que nosotros tenemos que prácticamente aprenderlos de memoria, ¿sí? Y eso pasa con este verbo de acá. Have es un verbo irregular y por eso es que yo no lo cambio así, ¿verdad? No digo has, sino que la manera de cambiarlo a tercera persona es has. Okay, now, number 9. What do you eat for lunch? What do you eat for lunch? But right here, we are referring to a third person. So what, and we will have to change this auxiliary do with some of the different one. So let's see, Steven Herrera, how would you do number 9?
What does he eat for lunch?
Correct. What does he eat for lunch? Correct. Great job, Stephen. Thank you. Now, number 10. We watch a lot of TV, but right here we are referring to my mother. And remember, this verb has CH, so it's gonna be quite different. So let's see. Helen Romo, how would you do number 10?
My brother watch a lot of TV.
Yes. My mother watches a lot of TV. Great job. So we are running out of time, but Nancy, how would you do number 11? What do you do?
Teacher, a nadie no le falta el of.
A lot of... ¿Qué cosa me falta? Se va a terminar.
Okay. My mother watches
Of.
A lot of, yes. So, se acabó el tiempo, ¿verdad? Acá está okay, acá escribí mal, puse maganices instead of magazines, right? But right here, look, this is the one that I was about to do. What does your son do? And finally, Maria doesn't need a new car, okay? So those are the answers with that exercise over there, okay? So right now, before we move forward, I wanna assign you some activities so you can develop them as part of your homeworks, okay? So let me start telling you which are the activities that you will have to develop, okay? Voy a asignarles de una vez lo que tienen que realizar en su, de manera de deber. It's gonna be this one right here. 1 second. Okay, guys, we are going to check some vocabulary, right? Because I think that we are almost getting there with how to properly form the present tense, right? So I want to show you some vocabulary event, right? About professions, right? Because remember, in the reading, in the listening part also, we have some professions such as journalists, right? That I told you, Alfonso Espinosa de los Monteros. But there are many and many professions. For example, I am a teacher, right? Probably some of you know a doctor, a nurse, once again, a journalist. We have a waiter that it's referring to men, and waiters that is referring to women. A shop assistant. A shop assistant is those people that are running around, for example, when you go to Zara, right? And they are telling you, okay, so you want this jean in large, in extra large, okay? So those people, those are shop assistant. A receptionist, a policeman, or you can also say a police woman, a factory worker, right? Let's say that if you go to Papelesa, there are gonna be people in the factory when they make the paper, and those people that usually handle like big machines, those people are the factory worker. And the taxi driver, a taxi driver. Remember that we were discussing about this in the reading about Eve, this lady that was driving to the airport, okay? So let's listen to each of these professions, and remember, feel free to write down the right pronunciation.
2.57 Jobs and places of work. 1. What do they do? A. 1.
A teacher.
A teacher.
2.
A doctor.
A doctor.
3.
A nurse.
A nurse.
4.
A journalist.
A journalist.
5.
A waiter.
A waiter.
A waitress.
A waitress.
6.
A shop assistant.
7.
A receptionist.
A receptionist.
8.
A policeman.
Policeman.
A policewoman.
A policewoman.
9.
A factory worker.
A factory worker.
10.
A taxi driver.
A taxi driver. Okay, so let's repeat these professions so you guys get familiar with it. Okay, so Steven, can you please read number 1? You're mute.
A teacher.
A teacher. Okay, great job, Steven. Thank you. Helen Romo, number 2.
A doctor.
A doctor, correct. Great job. Homero, number 3.
A nurse.
A nurse, right? Great job. Thank you, Homero. Now let's go with Fernanda Landívar, number 4.
A journalist.
A journalist, okay? A journalist. That is the correct pronunciation. Thank you, Fernanda. Now, let's go with number 5. Remember, this is quite tricky. I'm gonna repeat it. Let me check it.
3. A nurse.
Okay. Let's listen. Number 4.
4.
A journalist.
A journalist. Now let's go with number 5.
5.
A waiter.
A waiter. Okay. A waiter, or you can also say in English from North America, a waiter, right? Remember that people from UK, they pronounce in a really strong way the letter T, right? So that is why they are saying the waiter. But in English from North America, it is acceptable to say the waiter. Now let's listen to the other word.
A waitress.
A waitress, okay? So Nancy, can you please tell me, can you please pronounce the name, the professions of picture number 5?
A waiter.
A waiter, and the other one?
A waitress.
A waitress, correct. Remember, that is a correct pronunciation, but Nancy is pronouncing the North American accent, okay? Waiter, or you can also say waiter. And this one right here, waitress. Waitress, okay? Let's continue with the next one, number 6. Let's go with Sandra Santin.
A shop assistant.
A shop assistant, correct. Let's hear it.
6.
A shop assistant.
A shop assistant, okay? Let's go with number 7, Álvaro Álava. Number 7.
Receptionist.
A receptionist. Remember, there is a P in there. A receptionist, okay? Receptionist. Okay, can you please repeat it, Álvaro?
Receptionist.
Receptionist, okay? Thank you, Álvaro. Great job. Remember, receptionist. I'm gonna play the audio, okay? Listen.
7. A receptionist.
A receptionist. Receptionist. Right here, you have the stress in the receptionist, okay? Let's go with number 8.
8.
Okay, let me see. Narcisa Navarrete, can you please tell me number 8?
Policeman.
A policeman. A policeman. And what about this one right here?
Policewoman.
Policewoman, correct. Great job, Narcisa. So a policeman and a policewoman.
Woman. Okay, woman.
Okay, so let's hear it.
Thank you.
A policeman.
A policewoman.
A policewoman, okay? Now let's go with number 9. And in this occasion, I'm gonna ask Melanie Pineda. Can you please read number 9?
A factory worker.
A factory worker, amazing. Great job, Melanie. Let's hear it.
9.
A factory worker.
Factory worker. And finally, we have number 10, and I'm gonna ask Joanna Riasco. Can you please read number 10 for me?
A taxi driver.
A taxi driver, amazing. Great job, Joanna. Let's hear it.
10.
Yes, Sandra?
Estas profesiones siempre tienen que llevar la a.
Depende.
O sí puede decir solo teacher.
Puedes decir teacher, puedes decir the teachers, de doctors, cuando te refieres a más, ¿verdad? De nurses, de journalists, pero por decirte, si tú me preguntas que si puedes decir teacher en lugar de a teacher, dependería del contexto, ¿verdad? Porque podría ser en una ocasión que tú digas, I love my teacher, ¿verdad? Yo amo a mi profesor. Entonces, en ese caso, no tendrías que poner a, ¿verdad? Pero si tú dices en otro contexto, I love being a teacher. Yo amo ser una profesora. Ahí sí, dependiendo el contexto, yo tengo que utilizar en ciertas ocasiones el artículo a, o en ocasiones tengo que, si es plural, diría de doctor, de teachers, ¿verdad? Entonces, depende del contexto, Sandra.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Okay, let me see. So taxi driver was the last one. Now, we have another vocabulary bank that is related with the professions. Basically, this vocabulary bank is related to the places where these professionals develop their work, right? For example, a doctor, it's gonna be in a hospital. This shop assistant, it's gonna be in a shop. A shop could be Zara, could be H&M, La Gran Vía, Super Éxito, all of that is a shop. In a restaurant, we're talking about Eddie's Barbecue, Chili's, you know, many and many restaurants that we have in the city. In an office, somebody can tell me why right here we have an office and no a office? Anybody? ¿Por qué tenemos an office y no a?
Porque por la vocal.
Por la vocal. Great job, Steven. Great job. Remember that there is a rule that if we are talking about this article, a, but if the next word we are referring start with a vowel, we are going to be using an. For example, we don't say an, we don't say a apple. We say an apple. We don't say a elephant. We say an elephant. Okay, same thing right here. In an office. Next one, in a school. The teacher works in a school. In a factory. The factory worker works in a factory. That is the example that I was telling you, right? With a lot of heavy machines around, a factory. At home, there are people that are working at home also, right? At home. And we have in the streets. So policeman usually works in the street, okay? So I'm gonna play the audio for you so you can get familiar with the pronunciation.
2.59. 2. Where do they work? 1.
In a hospital.
In a hospital.
2.
In a shop.
In a shop.
3.
In a restaurant.
In a restaurant. Si notan, no es como en español que decimos la letra total, como que restaurant. No, it's restaurant, right? Let's listen that again.
3.
In a restaurant.
In a restaurant, okay? No restaurante, right? In a restaurant.
4. In an office.
In an office.
5.
In a school.
In a school.
6.
In a factory.
In a factory.
7.
At home.
At home.
8.
In the street.
In the street, right? In the street. What's happening with this? Okay, now let's practice the pronunciation of each of these phrases. So Nancy, number 1, how would you say it?
In a hospital.
In a hospital, correct. I see that you are writing down the pronunciation. That is a good trick. So you are doing it amazing. Great job, Nancy. Thank you.
Thank you.
In a shop, next one. Well, I already pronounced it, but let's go with Alvaro. Anyway, can you please help me with number 2, Alvaro?
In a shop.
In a shop, correct. Great job, Alvaro. Helen, number 3.
In a restaurant.
In a restaurant, correct. Notice how Helen pronounced it, right? She didn't say in a restaurant. She said in a restaurant. Okay, great job. Number 4, let's go with Fernanda Landívar.
In an office.
In an office, correct. Great job, Fernanda. Number 5, Homero.
In a school.
In a school, great job. Next, let's go with number 7. Sandra, number 6, I'm sorry.
In a factory.
In a factory. Notice the word stress that Sandra is doing, right? In a factory. Great job, Sandra. Let's go with number 7, Joanna.
At home.
At home, correct. At home. And finally, let's go with number 8, Steven.
In the street.
In the street, correct. Great job, Steven. Okay, so we are gonna, let me check. Okay, so I told you that today we are gonna try to finish a couple of minutes early, right? So I'm gonna tell you about the activities, the upcoming activities that you need to develop, okay? Give me a second because this is, I don't know, this is like crashing. There is something wrong with it. So I gotta refresh the page. Okay, so before I continue, let me send the activities that you need to develop, okay? Okay, the pictures have been sent into the chat room, right? In the chat room of WhatsApp. So feel free to check it. But anyways, I'm gonna tell you which of these activities you will have to develop, okay? Okay, so this is one of the activities that you will have to develop. Grammar Bank 1B, put the verb in the braces in the right form. You will also have to develop this one right here. There is something going on with this. This is, you will also have to develop this one right here. Read the article and complete 1 and 2 with the job. I think I didn't send you this previously, but I'm gonna do it right now. Okay, you will also have to do this writing activity. Write 2 paragraphs about 2 people you know who have jobs, ¿verdad? Van a escribir 2 párrafos sobre 2 personas diferentes que sepan ustedes que tengan trabajo. Ya les voy a decir cuál es una estructura sugerida para hacer el writing. El writing de ayer no se los he todavía calificado porque hay muchos que lo hicieron casi que hoy en la mañana, entonces no me dio el tiempo de revisarlos. Entonces sí les voy a pedir que con este writing procuren hacerlo al menos antes del jueves o del viernes, ¿no? Para poderlo revisar con tiempo y que no llegue el próximo día sábado y recién lo vayan a hacer, ¿ok? No.
Hola,
Sí,
justamente yo tuve un inconveniente. No pude subir mi radio porque lo estaba haciendo justamente hoy en la mañana y no me había dado cuenta que era por tiempo. También estaba cronometrado a 10 minutos. Entonces, tuve que hacer algo cuando ingresé a la página nuevamente y el tiempo se me había terminado y no pude hacer nada. Lo mucho que alcancé a escribir fue mi nombre, porque tomé como ejemplo lo que usted nos había, lo que estaba en la imagen que pasó ayer. Tomé como ejemplo, estaba haciendo así, pero cuando ya quise comenzar a redactar, ya no pude. Entonces no sé si con eso quizás usted me pueda ayudar, por favor.
Sí, porque es que no es el único escenario. Hay otras personas que no lo han hecho porque creo que es culpa mía, porque como les he dado la facilidad de que hagan el deber hasta las 9 de la mañana, se lo toman literal, ¿no? Pero voy a volver a abrir el writing porque me parece que también Fernanda tiene el mismo escenario. Entonces de esa manera también los que no hayan completado, por favor que lo hagan para que no pierdan puntos así de por gusto.
Muchas gracias. Sí, la verdad es que en los fines de semana créanme que trato de darme el tiempo, pero lleva una cosa y otra cosa y más que nada cuando uno trabaja es más complicado.
Sí, sí, te entiendo totalmente. Es de,
muchas gracias.
Malabarando ahí con las cosas. Pero bueno, ahí en un ratito lo que sí te pido, Joan, no, ¿quién fue? Fue Narcisa, ¿verdad? Narcisa,
sí.
Cuando terminemos la clase, me haces acuerdo para poder abrir eso, porque si no se me pasa, ¿ya?
Listo, mi amor.
Ok, so the paragraph that you will have to write right here is similar to this one, look. So look, right here is not a big deal. My mother is a teacher. She works at a primary school. Primary school es escuela primaria, ¿verdad? Los chiquillos que están en básica. In Sao Paulo. She doesn't speak English at work. She loves her job because she likes children, right? So I don't know, you can write about your mother, you can write about your girlfriend, your husband, like whoever you want to, you can. But as soon as, I mean, the only thing is that that person that you are gonna write about it have to be a worker, right? This person needs to have a job. For example, if I will write about my mother is a teacher too, so I will say, my mother is a teacher. She works in a college or in a university in Guayaquil. She speaks Spanish. She doesn't speak English at work. And she loves her job because she likes people or she likes to deal with people, okay? So this, you will say that it's a short paragraph, right? So you are gonna write 2 of them. You're gonna write about your mother and you're gonna write about your father, but you need to write 2 different paragraphs. And you can base your paragraph on this structure right here, okay? Now, what else? The other activities that you need to develop are the following ones. I'm gonna tell you in a bit. There is something wrong with this. It's crashing. I think that probably is my computer because the storage, it's full. I have a lot of things inside my computer and I think that it's getting slow. So today I will have to delete some things. Now, you will also have to do, okay, my suggestion is that you get familiar with this vocabulary right here, right? you're gonna have the right pronunciation, right? So you're gonna listen and you are gonna follow each of these phrases. You can also practice your pronunciation. You can practice your rhythm. Like, watch out, this is not mandatory, but it's my recommendation. Nada de esto es que se va a quedar registrado ni nada, porque si ven no hay actividad con esto, sino que les recomiendo que sí lo escuchen y sí lo practiquen, así como lo hacemos aquí en clases, para que se familiaricen con lo que van a hacer más adelante, ¿no? So you will have to develop also this activity right here, and this reading right here, right? Complete the sentence. You will have to read this in order to complete this activity right here, okay? Once again, we are gonna have a feedback about this topic on next class, but it's important that you cover this topic by yourself first so you get familiar with the content, the upcoming content, okay? So any questions before you guys are free to go? Okay, había algo que les quería comentar, dentro de cuando termine la clase, yo les voy a enviar por el grupo, porque creo que es una manera más directa, sus notas que tienen hasta el momento, ¿no? Cómo han cumplido las cosas, la participación en clase. Entonces, para que lo revisen, ¿no? No les digo que en ese momento revísenlo. Fíjense que no, de lo que yo haya puesto, por ejemplo, si les puse que en una actividad no han cumplido y en realidad sí le hicieron, pues anótenlo para yo poder corregirlo si ese es el caso, ¿no? Si, por ejemplo, hay algún caso de que en alguna situación ustedes ven que sí vinieron ese día a clases, pero está como que no vinieron, también lo mismo, sino que se las estoy dejando para que la revisen y para después discutirlo, porque si nos ponemos a discutir sobre sus notas ahorita no salimos de aquí nunca, ya tengo experiencia con eso, entonces se las voy a enviar para que las revisen y podemos corregir y compartir con lo que ustedes quieran ya la próxima semana. Lo que les quería decir es que la mayoría de ustedes casi que tienen los 6 posibles puntos, ¿no? En lo que hay ciertas personas que están un poquito más bajas es por el tema de Alticia, que todavía tienen tiempo para ponerse al día. Pero yo les envío eso en un ratito por el grupo de WhatsApp, ¿sí? ¿Alguna pregunta before we go? No questions? Okay, guys. So once again, thank you very much for an amazing weekend of class. So I'm gonna see you next weekend, right? If you have any question, feel free to text me. If I not text you back immediately, remind that sometimes I don't have the cell phone with me, but I will eventually text you back, okay? If you need anything, feel free to text me. So thank you very much, guys. And I see you next Saturday, okay? Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Miss.
Thank you.
Bye, teacher.
Goodbye.
Thank you.